Part 43. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 421. Chapter 421 Game Love. Miss Ling Dang, are you there? I know she is your roommate. Logo. When chatting with her, she mentioned that you have a good relationship and wanted to add her as a friend. It feels weird to add her as a friend because of this reason. But the only thing I have to do is add it overnight. Not good at chatting privately with others about irrelevant things, let alone a boy. The only feeling that the night gives people right now is that sense of mystery. A very rich newbie who is still in her prime. You can imagine that she is a rich second generation. People who participate in class activities are easily familiar, but she never talks nonsense with others in the group or YY, and silently practices her skills. Stand up. This kind of person cannot be ignored in the gang, because it makes people full of curiosity. Logo Yuxi's Qingyuan's Hejian is the deputy gang leader, and it is said that she has a good relationship with the gang leader. Hand the sword, he contacted her and told her one thing, Miss Ling Dang, our gang happens to lack a manager as active as you. Are you willing to learn to manage the gang? Is this going to promote her? This is really a beautiful misunderstanding. The so-called active participation in activities is because Logo Yuxi likes to invite her to play with her. Logo Yuxi is not an internet-addicted girl, at least she won't delay her business for games, so she takes this opportunity to relax and have no plans to become a leader. Ye Wei refused without thinking. A few days later, Logo Yuxi started to get her to play in the arena. It is a PK game in which several people form a group and several versus several. They were willing to bring novices with them because they had a playful mentality, so they formed a group of 5 people. Logo Yuxi is in a relationship with her and the gang leader is the DPS who is responsible for fighting. Ye Wei and another girl in the gang with the ID are the wet nurses. When you play this, do you need to open the weed? The only time I heard that the microphone was going to be turned on was when I said no. Logo Yuxi hurriedly persuaded her, it doesn't matter, just have fun. You don't have to turn on the mic. They are relatively good at playing and can judge their own skills, so it is not a big deal. Ye Wei also compromised, and a few people began to wipe the floor in the arena. No, it was to defeat the enemy and reach the top of the game. Probably because she had watched Nangong Logo play various games before, Ye Wei had some understanding of them, so she got started quickly and everyone praised her. However, the other wet nurse was not very happy when it got late and always accused her of not opening the mic and not knowing her skills even after she handed them over. Ye Wei simply stopped fighting and went to sleep. She doesn't care what strangers think. Logo Yuxi thought she was angry, so she came to comfort her with a few words. Ye Wei smiled and shook his head, I'm not angry, Logo, don't worry. When Logo Yuxi felt relieved, she unexpectedly received a private message from Logo Yuxi. It's late and I'm outspoken, but I don't mean any harm, so don't take it to heart. Ye Wei really didn't take it to heart, but the recent behavior of holding the sword made her feel baffled. Ye Wei couldn't help but ask Logo Yuxi, do you like your game relationship? Logo Yuxi seemed a little shy, but bravely answered her, I like it. The only thing Ye knows is that they have been together for a year. Is it the kind of like, I mean, the love kind? Logo Yuxi nodded, in the beginning, we just had a good time with friends and relatives. Later, after we played together more, we got together. But if you fall in love with someone in the game, will you meet in person? Logo Yuxi suddenly fell silent, not everyone is as good a match as you and Yezikin. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 422. Chapter 422, Childhood Sweethearts vs Skyfall series. Ever since Ye Wei asked about online dating, Logo Yuxi has not been online for 2 consecutive days. Ye Wei blamed herself. She probably accidentally hurt Luo Yuxi by asking something she shouldn't have asked. For this reason, she in turn invited Luo Yuxi to play games, hoping that she would cheer up again. I think the arena last time was quite fun. Luo, please take me to play again. Luo Yuxi shook her head and said, you don't even turn on the mic, so it's not convenient for communication. Ye Wei hesitated for a moment and asked tentatively, what about me? Can I turn on a voice changer? Luo Yuxi was puzzled, why? Your voice is so nice, why do you need a voice changer? I just feel weird. Anyway, I probably need a protective shell. She couldn't express the feeling in her heart, but that was probably what she meant. Luo Yuxi agreed. Ye Wei turned on the voice changer this time, and she had a very ordinary girl's voice. Just like that, her technology improved by leaps and bounds. The people in the gang basically formed a team when she came online, because nannies are a rare species and everyone wants them. Especially, they like this kind of young lady who is rich and doesn't flirt around. Until one day, Ye Wei saw them chatting randomly in the group. The gang leader said he was going to G City for a business trip, and someone mentioned that the deputy gang leader Luo Yuxi was studying in G City. The gang leader joked, I'm going to see the young lady for a face-to-face interview. Luo Yuxi was not convinced about the relationship, so she said at that time, I'll make an appointment with my little cutie first. This was so scary that Luo Yuxi was stunned. She said in a joking tone in the group, I weigh 200 pounds. If you are not afraid, just come. Luo Yuxi does not weigh 200 pounds, but she is really fat. But everyone in the group didn't believe it, and all agreed, Luo must be a beautiful little fairy with a sweet voice. Luo Yuxi couldn't help but glance at Ye Wei, who happened to turn his head to look at her. The two of them knew it well, but no one said anything. At this time, Luo Yuxi's Qing Yuan chatted with her privately again, Miss Lingdang, I would like to take the liberty to ask about Luo's situation. What? Luo's birthday is coming soon. I want to give Luo a gift. I see that she often sends some accessories on the space, so I want to give her a bracelet. I just want to know her wrist size. Looking at how sincere he said it, I couldn't tell whether their one-year relationship was true or false. But she thought quickly. If you tell the person holding the sword the size of your wrist, wouldn't it be equivalent to exposing Luo Yuxi's figure? I don't even dare to think about it. Ye Wei refused and told him, it's better to ask the person involved about this kind of thing. Because of this kind of thing, Ye Wei was not online for 2 days in a row. Luo Yuxi has been full of things on her mind recently. Until Luo Yuxi couldn't help but complain to her, he said he wanted to meet me. I told him I was fat, but he said he didn't care. In our relationship of more than a year, apart from meeting each other, we got along better than rivals in a long-distance relationship. It's all good. We have common interests and are indispensable companionship. I cherish this relationship. He said he hopes to get to know each other better. What should I do? When Yezi heard this news, he understood it instantly. Luo Yuxi's love interest wants to meet her, so show up. Be a good boy. This news frightened her, because she had no concept at all. The person she likes has been with her since childhood. Even when I first witnessed Kitano and Yuan Ran's relationship, they flirted with each other face to face for 2 years. Unable to imagine, Luo Yuxi asked her, do you think I should agree? Thanks for the reward of I'm hard to coax, summer, girl's heroic dream, Yiji Zioxi. The top 3 in the weekly list, it's hard for me to coax, listen to the sound of rain, and the wind is blowing. Please contact Chinese Valentine's Day before next Friday to collect physical gifts. Regarding the red envelopes for the top 10 rewards in the overall list, please pay attention to tomorrow's chapter. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 423. Chapter 423, Being Pressed to the Ground. Yanan is going to the swimming pool. I heard he has a great looking figure. You mean Yezikin? Let's go take a look. That night, Wei Wei and his roommate walked out of the classroom holding books and heard some people excitedly discussing Yezikin's body. Xiaoziun raised her hand and said, I want to go to the swimming pool. Maybe I can get a live video. Her expression looked very excited. Luo Yuxi gave Ye Wei an ambiguous look, and Ye Wei was now in a petrified state. She took a deep breath and said one word calmly, let's go. Yezikin wants to swim at school, why doesn't she know? The three of them rushed to the swimming pool and found that the door was blocked, mostly girls. Luo Yuxi sighed, oh my god, this is so spectacular. Xiaoziun had already raised her mobile phone high, that's not it? Yezikin's body is full of fatal temptation. I heard that he is super handsome with six-pack abs. It's obviously 8 UN, very handsome. Xiaoziun's keen hearing caught the important point, and his sharp eyes fell on her, how do you know? Ye Wei was suddenly speechless, blinked, put on an innocent expression and told lies, I guessed. How can we get in now, the door is full of people. Insert whenever you see a crack. Xiaoziun and Ye Wei were both thin, so they squeezed in and went in. Luo Yuxi looked at her thick arms and legs and cried silently in her heart. Ye Wei and Xiaoziun were squeezed apart, and Ye Wei's braids hanging on both sides of her ears became a little messy. She knew that Yezikin was popular, but she didn't expect these people to be so scary. Moreover, even when she got into the swimming pool, she stood behind the crowd. The people in front didn't know what they were watching, and they didn't notice the excitement. But she still didn't know, Yezikin doesn't have classes anymore, so why is he still swimming in school? Ye Wei unknowingly asked her what she was thinking. The person next to him kindly answered, He Yan, a sophomore, is a student with special talents. He has won awards since he was a child and has become soft-handed. When he entered the school, he found out that Senior Ye was the number one in the school and challenged him. In the end, he lost. After losing, He Yan has been pestering Yezikin for a year and wants to compete with him again. Generally speaking, Yezikin was moved by He Yan's persistence. No, I was bothered by He Yan's shamelessness. A certain nymphomaniac looked at her heartily, I found that Senior Ye has been coming to school more recently. I'm so happy to see him. Ye Wei quietly slipped to the other side and tried his best to get in front. Because there were so many people, everyone squeezed in and stood at the edge of the swimming pool. Yezihan and Xiaomoying were also on the edge. Yezihan accidentally saw Ye Wei looking at the front intently, and suddenly tugged on Xiaomoying's sleeve. Ying, look, that's Ye Wei. Xiaomoying became angry when she thought about the embarrassing incident of being pinned to the ground by Ye Wei last time. Yezihan whispered a few words in Xiaomoying's ear. Xiaomoying looked embarrassed, isn't it good? There are so many people. Yezihan kept instigating, just take advantage of the crowd. Everyone will think that she fell in by herself, and they will never doubt us. Moreover, she fell into the water in front of so many people, and I'm afraid she won't be able to see anyone. Xiaomoying felt it made sense after hearing this. The two of them pretended to be crowded and moved closer to Ye Yi. Yezihan deliberately bumped Xiaomoying's elbow, and Xiaomoying used the force to hit Ye Wei and push her down. So the question is, how did little Belle get entangled with Brother Chen? End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 424. Chapter 424. Qiao Li is drowning and calls his brother to save him. Bang, there was a splash of water at the only place where the knight fell into the water. The two men who did it sneaked behind and deliberately shouted loudly, Someone fell into the water. Ye Wei was pushed into the pool unprepared and fell down. The water in the pool could submerge her whole body. The shadow of almost drowning when she was young shrouded her whole body. She struggled in the water, "Brother, brother, save me." The swimming pool was crowded with people, and there were endless cheers. At this moment, Yezikin and He-Yan were competing with all their strength. "Come on Yezikin. Come on He-Yan." Both of them have their own little fans, and they are equally good at swimming. He-Yan is a professional, but Yezikin is just an amateur. However, amateurs are on par with him, a professional player. He-Yan can't swallow this. Just as they swam to the other side and were about to go back, they suddenly heard someone on the left shouting that someone had fallen into the water. There are so many people in the swimming pool. Even if they fall into the water, others will save them. This will not affect their competition. But unexpectedly, someone shouted in surprise, "The girl who fell into the water is Xiao Ling." At this time, the coach who manages the swimming pool has already jumped into the water to save people. Yezikin, who was swimming at almost the same speed as He-Yan, suddenly turned and swam towards the place where the splash was splashing. Hey, the audience on the stage was surprised. The coach had already picked up Ye Wei, but Yezikin did not leave. Instead, he climbed onto the shore first and took Ye Wei from the coach's hand. The onlookers made way for a large space. This all happened suddenly, and no one was prepared. Afterwards, I realized that someone took out a mobile phone to take pictures, and I saw Yezikin holding the person in his arms. Ye Wei's clothes and hair were soaked through, and he coughed up a lot of water following his first aid movements. Cough cough cough. Brother, others couldn't hear her mumbling something incomprehensible, but they saw her tightly holding Yezikin's waist with both hands. Am I taking advantage of this opportunity? If I had known earlier, I would have jumped into the water. I am so happy to be held in Yezikin's arms. The swimming coach was also squatting next to him. Seeing that Ye Wei could only open his eyes, he asked several times, "Are you okay?" Ye Wei hugged Yezikin and said nothing, as if he was frightened. "She's fine," Yezikin answered for her and hugged the princess directly. He-Yan ran over and blocked Yezikin's way. "Yezikin, you can't leave. Do you think you can't beat me, so you deliberately save people?" He-Yan was angry and regretful. Obviously, there was only 2 or 3 meters left to finish the race, but Yezikin ran away at that moment. The more he thought about it, the more something was wrong. He-Yan waved his hand. "Forget it, I don't care what your purpose is, but she is fine now. You can put her down and let's compete again." Then, He-Yan held his head high and showed off his majestic and high-spirited aura, but it couldn't match Yezikin's look. "Step aside." He-Yan's arms shook, thinking that he couldn't lose face in front of so many people, so he had to stop him. "No, let's compete again. A man must win or lose. You can't take the opportunity to leave." Yezikin was also completely wet, with water droplets still dripping from her hair. That sharp look when he looked at him made people panic. Seeing him up close, she opened her thin lips and uttered a sharp word, "Get out." Xiaomoying and Yezihan deliberately ran over to pretend to be nice. "Senior, why don't we take Xiao Ling to the infirmary?" End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 425. Chapter 425. Feeling the trembling in his arms, Yezikin hugged her tighter. No matter how many classmates were watching, he personally carried her into the locker room. "Sit down first." Yezikin put her on the stool, found his own towel, wiped her clean, and gave her his clothes. Ye Wei grabbed his clothes and looked up at his wet body, feeling distressed. "Brother, where are you? You put it on first. You put it on, you can help me get some clothes?" "Oh, are you sure you want to sit in front of me in a translucent state?" Yezikin pointedly moved his gaze downwards from her face. As soon as Ye Weiwei lowered his head, he saw that the two bulges on his chest had faintly revealed the patterns inside. She is wearing a long-sleeved white shirt today, so. His face turned red. Without hesitation, he took the clothes into his hands and walked into the small room. When he closed the door, he didn't forget to remind him, "Brother, please contact your friends and ask them to send clothes." She hid inside and hurriedly changed into it. After coming out, I wanted to find my cell phone to send a message to my roommate, but found that there was nothing around me. By the way, when I fell into the water just now, my phone also fell in and disappeared. Brother, my phone may have fallen into the pool. I have contacted your roommate. Yezikin shook his cell phone. He was the one who brought Yayuyi in, and of course he noticed that her cell phone was not there. But just in case, he had already saved the contact information of only 3 roommates. Ye Weiwei nodded. She saw Yezikin sitting there still wet. She tugged on the loose men's T-sleeves that were on her body, pursed her lips and said, "Brother, I think I can wrap up in a bath towel and wait here." However, Yezikin held her shoulders and cupped her cheeks with his palms. Her eyes, as bright as black gems, were deep and made people sink. "You are a girl and you should protect yourself. I'm sorry, I've caused you trouble again. How did you fall?" "I felt like someone pushed me from behind." Moreover, the unexpected force did not seem like she was accidentally hit, but was very powerful and deliberately pushed her back into the swimming pool. No one in this school knows whether she can swim, and no one knows that she is actually afraid of deeper pools because of her childhood shadow. Either it is a prank. Do you know who is around you? Ye Weiwei shook his head. There are too many, I can't remember. But there were so many people at that time, and she was focused on watching Yezikin's game and cheering for him. How could she deliberately write down the people around her? Ye Weiwei suddenly thought, are there cameras over there at the swimming pool? Your location is too edge, and it should be a blind spot that cannot be photographed. Yezi was silent for a while after hearing Yezikin's words. It seemed like Yezihan and Xiaomoying were also present just now. "Brother, I think of 2 people, but I'm not sure." "You say?" Dong dong dong, a knock on the door sounded. Suche shouted twice at the top of his lungs, "Brother, I brought you clothes." Yeziwei heard the voice and quickly identified it. It was Senior Suche's voice. The tone is still a bit happy. She was going to open the door for Suche, but Yezikin grabbed her by the head and dragged her to her side. "You go into the small room." "Ah, why? Do you want to be seen like this by other men?" His eyes glanced at the loose clothes on her body. She was not wearing underwear and the 2 prominent points were very sexy. Suche, who had not received a response for a long time, took the key, opened the door and barged in. 3 seconds of silence for poor Suche. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 426. Chapter 426. The relationship between Yezikin and Xiaolian is exposed. Yezikin blocked Ye Wei with his body and pushed her into the small room. Be good. Bang. Yezikin closed the door directly for her. Suche, who was unaware of the situation, poked his head out curiously and glanced here and there. Brother, you are hiding a woman here. Yezikin took the clothes in his hand and said coldly, you can go. Suche, who wanted to join in the fun, refused and sat there with his legs crossed. I won't leave. What's going on? Brother, aren't you competing with that guy Yan? Why are you hiding a woman here, who is inside? Suche had something to do before, so he didn't go to the scene and didn't know about the incident of Ye Wei falling into the water. Of course, he didn't know that he had offended a certain jealous king from the moment he took the key and opened the door. Suche, I'll give you another chance, get out. Brother, just tell me, I'm curious. As he spoke, Suche stood up and wanted to knock on the door of the small room to see who was inside. But the next second, he was grabbed by the collar and thrown out of the locker room by Yezikin. Oh, in the process, Yezikin also took away the key that he held in his hand. Suche looked pitiful. Brother? You don't want to burn bridges with someone like this. Dong, a message came on the phone. Suche raised it up and saw that it was from Yezikin. It seems that you have been too busy recently. You will go to work in the company tomorrow. Suche immediately knelt down in pity. Brother, I was wrong, I was really wrong. I want to go to school, I want to study hard and make progress every day. Brother, please listen to my explanation. Dong is another piece of information. When I clicked it and took a look, there were no words on it. However, Suche's IQ was above the line and he slipped away quickly. Ye Wei came out of the small room and bumped into Yezikin in the middle of changing. Looking at those 8-pack ABS face to face, she couldn't help but swallow the saliva in her throat. Hurriedly cover your face and turn around, not daring to look anymore. Looking at her again, she is really going to float. Oh, why haven't my clothes arrived yet? The boys' dormitory is closer than the girls' dormitory. Suche was in the dormitory originally, so he came here one way, while Luo Yuxi had to run back and come back again. But soon there was a knock on the door again. Dong dong dong. Chiao Chiao, are you there? Hearing Luo Yuxi's voice, Yezikin grabbed Yezikin's arms with both hands, hid behind him, and went to open the door. Yezikin opened the door, and Luo Yuxi saw the male who looked like he had just taken a bath with water still covering his head. Yeah, brother, yeah, these are Kiao's clothes. Thanks. No thanks, no thanks. Luo Yuxi took the opportunity to take a look and saw a roommate hiding behind Yezikin. She felt that running out of breath was not a loss at all. Hey, you go on, I won't interrupt you. Luo Yuxi, whose emotional intelligence is online, stepped back. It's very lively outside right now. This explains a lot of things. Yezikin hasn't been on stage for 3 years, but he also went to Qiao Lian's opening ceremony. When Qiao Liao had a car accident, Yezikin was the first to rush over and hug her. Yezikin also paid for she just ignored the game. They are definitely related. This is the conclusion that everyone reached unanimously. Luo Yuxi and Suche, who went in to deliver clothes, were blocked outside and asked about the situation inside. 2 people expressed ignorance. Do Yezikin and Qiao Li know each other? What's their relationship? Luo Yuxi couldn't stand it anymore. She put her hands on her hips and raised her head. Her fat body dominated everyone's attention. Actually, they are. Isn't that the kind of relationship? Did you celebrate 520 yesterday? End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 427. Chapter 427. What happened in the private room? What is it? All the students concentrated their attention and wanted to hear the truth. Luo Yuxi took a deep breath, and her serious expression just now suddenly turned into a silly smile. Of course it's the relationship between the senior and the junior girl. Cut. No one is counting on them anymore, and they are all discussing it in the campus forum. Luo Yuxi looked at the Taiba and sighed. It seemed that the relationship between Yezikin and Ye Wei could no longer be hidden. Yezihan and Xiaomoying were taken to the theme private room again, still in the same location as last time. Last time they wanted to set up Ye Wei here, but this time someone else really threatened her. Because they received a direct warning from Ye Wei, saying that the video of that day was already in Ye Wei's hands, and if he didn't come, it would be released directly to the public. Xiaomoying didn't believe it at first, but when they went back to look at the swimming pool, they found that there was indeed a camera. If this matter comes to light, they will be doomed at school. They couldn't afford to risk their reputation, so they had no choice but to accept Ye Wei's threat. Xiao Li, we are here, hand over the video. The two went in hand and saw Ye Wei sitting on the sofa. She is the only one. Hearing the movement, Ye Wei didn't even raise his eyelids. You are so arrogant now that the situation is in my hands. She slowly picked up her fork and took out the diced fruit from the fruit plate and ate it with a calm mind. But Xia Moying was very anxious. Xiao Li, just say what you want. Stop pretending. Ye Wei placed the fork in his hand on the edge of the fruit plate, crossed his hands and turned to look at her. Xia Moying, I just want to know why you and Yezihan are against me. Xia Moying retorted hastily, whoever went against you? It was an accident. Ye Wei chuckled, obviously not believing it. Accident? You two accidentally pushed me into the swimming pool? If it was just an accident, why didn't you dare to let me release the video to the public? This. Xia Moying was speechless for a moment and pushed Yezihan with her hand. Yezihan stepped forward and said bravely, it will definitely have a bad impact if this kind of video is posted. Of course we can't let you post it. Is that so? But that's not what I saw in the video. You two have nothing to do with this matter. If I hand it over, even if your father is related to Xia Moying, I can't convince the public, right? Xia Moying panicked instantly when her name was called. Even though her father is one of the directors of the school, if this kind of thing gets out, he will definitely think that she has brought shame to the family and will beat her to death. Xia Moying hurriedly threw the pot to Yezihan. Xiao Li. Let me tell you first, this was Yezihan's idea, don't blame me. Yezihan looked only at Yezihan. Seeing that she had been betrayed, Yezihan was unwilling to take the blame. It was Xia Moying who pushed you. The two of them glared at each other, and then asked Ye Wei, what are you going to do before you hand over the video? Ye Wei stood up and felt that these two people were particularly fun. She suggested, why don't we play a game? When you see me in school, you must respect me. What do you mean? Just a brief explanation, you two will be my little followers from now on. Don't even think about it. Xia Moying turned her face away angrily. Ye Wei shrugged casually, then I have no choice but to hand over the evidence. Don't, we just agree. Where's the video? Facing questioning, Ye Wei held up a recording pen and said, there is no video, but there is evidence. Mental torture is far more cruel than physical torture. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 428. Chapter 428, Meeting Netizens. I heard that Jiao Ling is in a relationship with Yezik and it's really amazing he managed to hook up with the senior just after arriving. That's true love. When Jiao Lian fell into the water, Senior Ye was very anxious. It's just that face. The car accident and the swimming incident were combined, and Ye Wei and Yezikin could no longer be separated from each other. Although the person involved clarified that the relationship was just between a schoolgirl and a senior, people with a discerning eye would look at it and make guesses. If their family backgrounds are not related, they are not brothers and sisters. Why are we so close if we are not brothers and sisters? The only explanation is love. Some people praise the talent and beauty of a man, while some people just want to fly up a branch to hook up with a wealthy family. However, as the person involved, Ye Yuyi smiled casually after hearing this. If she didn't admit it, what else could these people do to her? It was Luo Yuxi who felt sorry for her. Qiao, why don't you tell me about your relationship with Senior yet? You two are obviously meant for each other. Rumors only stop among the wise, and they will stop when they have enough guessing, but it will be troublesome to speak out. If you tell me, you will probably only focus on when they will break up, right? It's scary to think about. You're right, Luo Yuxi nodded in agreement. After a while, Luo Yuxi patted the back of her hand again, whispered into her ear, Chiao Chiao, I plan to have with Qing Yuan. You, why did you suddenly decide? I have figured it out. I like him so much now. If he is willing to accept me as I am, then we will be sweet and our relationship can be confirmed. If he cannot accept it, then I will give up as soon as possible to avoid wasting time. Luo Yuxi pretended to be relaxed and said it. Ye was the only one who heard the idea of a desperate move. Luo Yuxi planned to bet. If she won the bet, it would be a beautiful love. If she lost the bet, she might as well get out as soon as possible to avoid getting deeper into it. No matter what, it's her choice. Now that you have decided, I wish you success. Luo Yuxi decided to meet him for a romantic encounter. Somehow, the news spread even to the gang. Luo Yuxi does not feel inferior in front of the public. She remains optimistic. Since she is willing to meet the people she likes, other people don't matter. Ye Wei looked at Luo Yuxi and felt that she had been in a good mood since she figured it out. She really hoped that she could keep it up. The gang's QQ group was too noisy, with messages popping up all the time. Ye Wei simply locked people into the group assistant, so they wouldn't be able to see them unless they opened them. At the weekend, Luo Yuxi asked her to go shopping together, saying that she wanted to buy new clothes. Ye only agrees. Luo Yuxi was originally the one shopping for clothes, but when she got there, Luo Yuxi took down all the beautiful skirts and compared them in front of her. Chiao Chiao, you look good in this, and this one is also suitable. Luo, just pick what you like. I have a lot of clothes, so there's no need to buy them. Most of her clothes were custom made by Yezikin directly from someone and delivered to her. They all fit her aesthetics and there is no shortage of them. Clothing. How can anyone find it hard to have too many clothes? Look at how suitable these are for you and how cheap they are, it's a pity to miss them. Looking at the way Luo Yuxi kept selling to her, Ye Wei thought that Gongqinli used to stuff her clothes like this, but at that time, Gongqinli was forced to pay for her and give her away. Ye Wei was too embarrassed to refuse anymore, so he asked someone to wrap up all the things Luo Yuxi picked just now. Okay, I'll just buy these. Ye Wei bought a lot at once. When checking out, Luo Yuxi made an okay gesture to the cashier. As for the character Luo Yuxi, maybe. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 429. Chapter 429, being taken advantage of by friends again. Ye Wei was unaware of all the interactions between Luo Yuxi and the cashier. Ye Wei looked at the 5 or 6 bags on the checkout counter and suddenly thought, Luo, you haven't bought any clothes yet. I don't think this store is suitable for me, let's go to another store and have a look. When buying clothes, you have to look around. It's hard to find something suitable for Luo Yuxi's figure. Ye Wei nodded, it's better to look around. But I went to 3 stores in a row, and each time I only bought a lot. The softness in Ye Wei's eyes became colder little by little. When Luo Yuxi turned to recommend a bag to match her clothes, she smiled again. Luo, the clothes I bought today can probably be exchanged for one. The moon won't repeat itself. Well, because I left my address and sent it home directly after buying it, I only had 1 or 2 bags in my hands. Luo Yuxi seemed to finally understand the embarrassment and scratched her head. Yes, you have bought a lot, it's my turn, it's my turn. Luo Yuxi finally chose 2 sets in the store where they are currently. The 2 of them went back to their respective homes and separated at the intersection of the street. When the taxi was empty, Luo Yuxi asked her to go back first. Ye Wei did not refuse, said goodbye to her and got into the car. Luo Yuxi watched the taxi turn the corner. She carried the bag in her hand and walked through the only clothing store where she bought just that night. In the end, I received a commission of 2,000 yuan. Luo Yuxi counted the money and sighed. I'm sorry, Chiao, I need this money anyway. You are so rich, so you probably don't care about the cost of shopping. That's right, she just agreed with the shopkeeper in advance that she would bring people to buy a lot, and the shopkeeper would give her a commission on each item, so she earned a tip of 2,000 yuan. After getting the money, she went to a watch store to choose from a wide range of products and chose a men's watch. When Luo Yuxi saw the clerk packaging the watch and handing it to her hand, she felt very happy. She is going to meet Hejian, so she specially prepared this meeting gift. Luo Yuxi asked Ye Wei to play a game in the evening, but Ye Wei refused. Nearly 30 shopping bags were placed in the lobby, and she had no intention of picking them up. Her clothes were mostly handled by Yezikin, and they would be replaced with new ones every once in a while and the previous ones would be cleaned out. But now that she had bought a bunch of clothes, even though they were all flattering to her figure, she was not happy. Just because many things are not revealed does not mean that they cannot be seen. When Yezikin opened the door and came in, he was surprised by the pile of bags in the hall. Because Ye Wei never buys so many things at once. He put away his keys and glanced twice as he walked past the pile of shopping bags. They seemed to be all clothes. Did you buy a lot today? Did you enjoy shopping? Ye Wei sat on the sofa with his hands on his knees, closed his eyes and shook his head. The tall figure stood in front of her, blocking the light for her. If you're not happy, why do you buy so much? Maybe this will make my friends happy. Ye Wei looked up at Yezikin's beautiful eyes and told the truth, her acting skills are not good enough, so she was discovered by me. Indeed, this little money is nothing to me, but it should be quite valuable to her, helpful. Are you willing to be used? I just want to forgive her once. After all, Luo Yuxi treated her sincerely. I hope you won't regret it. He stretched out his hand to smooth the wrinkles between her eyebrows. Yezikin magically conjured a box and handed it to her, a gift for you. Guess what? What is it then? An item recently mentioned in the article. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 430. Chapter 430. The lip marks on his face. A beautifully wrapped gift box was placed in front of her, and a smile instantly broke out on Ye Wei's face. What is this? Yezikin said mysteriously, open it and take a look. She carefully picked up the box and placed it on the sofa. She turned sideways and opened the lid. There was a white rectangular box inside, but she had already recognized the logo. It's the latest model of mobile phone. Yes, this is a gift for you. Do you like it? I like it. She couldn't wait to open the cover of the phone. The cherry blossom pink phone inside was full of girlish colors, which was exactly the style she liked. It's so beautiful, thank you, brother. Seeing her smiling face, Yezikin raised his head and touched the top of her head, his movements natural and gentle. When Ye Wei looked at him, she smiled so much that her eyebrows turned into crescent moons. The gloom in her heart was swept away, and she was filled with joy. Why did you suddenly give me a mobile phone? Didn't the screen sometimes go black last time I fell into the water, so I'll give you a new one. Last night, I fell into the swimming pool and my phone fell as well. It was still usable after someone picked it up, but occasionally the screen would go black. The reason why Yezikin didn't replace her clothes immediately was because she was waiting for the latest style that had just come out. It's better not to be too pampering about this kind of thing. Ye Wei stepped onto the sofa domineeringly, stretched out his arms and hugged Yezikin's neck. He lowered his head and touched Yezikin's forehead, and rubbed her affectionately several times. Brother, you are awesome. Is this just an expression? Hey, isn't this enough? My praise is very rare. She would not casually praise others for being super awesome. In her heart, the only person who deserves the word super awesome is Yezikin. I have always thought so. But Yezikin was still not satisfied. When he wants. I mean, actually means. If he's. As soon as Yezikin finished speaking, a mua on the left and a mua on the right put a faint lip print on her. Ye Wei suppressed his laughter and did not dare to tell the truth. Before Yezikin noticed it, he saw her standing tall on the sofa and suddenly asked her, "How tall are you?" Ye Wei used the height of the sofa to compare his height with Yezikin's, and said arrogantly, "I'm 1.8 meters tall." Yezikin silently put the person in his arms and put him on the ground. He asked again, "Are you sure you are 1.8 meters tall?" Ye Wei looked up at him. Comparing the sudden change in height, she pouted in embarrassment, "I'm about 1 meter." Turning her eyes, she caught a glimpse of the new phone and picked it up sideways. "Brother Chen, I want to try out my new phone. Just stand still and I can take a picture for you, okay?" She quickly completed the basic settings after entering the system. Yezikin snorted undeniably and stood still. Ye Wei opened the camera with a smile. Just as she began to focus on Yezikin's cheeks with red lip marks, her wrist was suddenly grabbed and her phone was snatched away unexpectedly. The phone returned to Yezikin's hand in an instant. He was playing with it, and when he looked at himself with the front camera, the red lip marks on his face could be said to be very beautiful. Ye Wei covered his face with his hands, his body slowly getting shorter. She was squatting down slowly. Yezikin picked him up easily. "Little Ling Dang, you are very brave." Ye Wei immediately put on lipstick. Said pitifully, "How about you also draw a kiss on my face?" Young Master Ye's face turned even darker. "Just don't be too pampering." 521,521. Why don't you leave a message to express your love for Chinese Valentine's Day? Why don't you just vote and give rewards, pointing fingers, crying? End of this chapter.